everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you're new here, and today we're going over fall fantasy romance recommendations. I am so in the mood for all the epic fall fantasy romance books. These are all of some of my favorites. They're going to include monsters, they're going to include epic adventures, they're going to be a little bit more fall atmospheric vibes, maybe even into winter. So depending on where you're at, you're going to start getting into the colder months, but mostly fall to me means epic fantasy. And that's kind of what I wanted to highlight today. So these are all books that I've read that I think are perfect for the fall season. So I've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. The first book is a book I am absolutely obsessed with. I cannot stop talking about it. Kingdom of Shadow and Ash. I am currently reading the second book right now. This book follows a girl that is the spare in a family of Wyverian siblings. All of her siblings have black eyes and she's got purple eyes. Don't know why. She is tasked to marry a draconian prince, a dragon prince from an enemy kingdom so they can kind of unite their two kingdoms together. And there's also a prophecy where she has to marry him then kill him. That's all she really wants to do. She doesn't really care about him. She wants to marry him and kill him. This prince has a lot of secrets. And then you also get a lot of other storylines from other people during this wedding. And this is definitely multi-POV. There are no humans. Mal here is a true Wyverian. She eats rotten food. She rides a wyvern. All of the people from all of the different kingdoms have a very specific animal that they are kind of bonded to, and it's very interesting. This story is intricate. It is also romantic. It is also epic, and I am obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it, and I just need you all to read it too. Then we have Empire of Flame and Thorns. I really enjoyed reading this book earlier this year. This book is about a young rebel who is trying to prove herself. So she enters these trials to try and be the best of the best and get noticed type of thing. She has this interesting power where she can manipulate people's emotions. And that is kind of seen as a weaker power. In fact, she doesn't even really want to talk about it with anybody. And she has to make it through these trials all while having this commander really try to sabotage her at every single turn. And it is just a real fun, interesting time. I absolutely loved it. I just think this is a fun, epic fantasy trials type of book. And I think you will love it too. Then we can't talk fall without talking about the Crowns of Nyaxia series. If you have not read this book yet, what are you doing? Especially if you love romantasy. Like, this is getting up there into like romantasy 101 that you need to read. The Serpent in the Wings of Night follows a human girl that was abducted by vampires when she was very young, and the vampires raised her among their kin. She has lived her life in fear the entire time, and one day she joins these trials again because the winner of these trials will be granted one wish from a goddess, and she just wants to be a vampire. So she enters these trials and she has to be allies with some people that she really doesn't want to be allies with, and they also have to work together and help each other through the trials. I absolutely loved this. Again, it's fantasy but with vampires, so it's not paranormal. It's definitely fantasy. It was really intense. I really loved the relationship here between her and her vampire father. I thought it was a really interesting dynamic, and I really love the romance as well. So this one, I need to continue on with it. I only read the first two books, but this whole series, definitely epic, definitely fall vibes for me. Then we have Into Their Woods by Ivy Asher. And this is a Wide Shoes book. It is also with shifter werewolves. And what happens is this girl is just driving through the mountains trying to get to a new job. She stops at this diner, and when she's just peacefully eating in this diner, she kind of gets conked out and wakes up in the middle of a forest in a cloak and hood. And she doesn't realize it, but there are wolves chasing all these women, And she now has wolves chasing her. So this whole thing is a ritual that she doesn't even know she's participating in. And so she ends up being the girl mate, whatever, to this group of wolves. I loved this book. I thought it was really fun. I really loved this whole dynamic with the wolves in a small town. Like one of them is the sheriff and one of them is the farmer. I don't remember all the guys. Okay, honestly, I don't remember, but I remember liking them all. And there is a second one. This is a duology. I only have the first one and I definitely need to read it. This one to me is like a summer fantasy that kind of blurs into a fall fantasy, just because it is so epic, and that is Spark of the Everflame. This is the Arcane edition that I just got and I love, like I'm obsessed. This book follows a young human girl who was raised as a healer. She is kind of caught in between a budding rebellion and also having to do her healer duties to these god-touched beings. So she is very much not wanting to hurt anybody, but she also, like her friends, boyfriend, family, all that kind of stuff are in the rebellion. So it's really, she's really struggles with getting caught in between everything. And there is a romance between her and one of the god-touched beings. Like these beings really do not treat humans very well. So that is why there's a rebellion. But the story, like it just kind of explodes from book 2 on. This first book sets the stage, I think, in a very well done way, and it just makes you intrigued to read more. Again, this one's not so much the fall vibes, it's more of the epic adventure that you get from this story that makes me think of fall time. So that's why I have it on this list. I highly enjoy this. I love Penn Cole's writing. I love Penn Cole as a person, and she is fantastic. And I think we are all waiting for Burn of the Everflame to come out eventually. Like I absolutely need to finish this series. But again, I can't wait. The next one is a trilogy where the second book just came out like literally 2 days ago. I'm talking about Anathema, but the second book, Eldrich, just came out. This story is absolutely epic, absolutely fall. You're gonna go into a creepy dark woods that's called the Eating Woods. You're gonna follow a young witch trying to save her sister from a Puritan society, and then you're gonna be launched into a portal, through a portal fantasy into a whole other kingdom with a guy who transforms into a cool thing. I don't know if I want to tell you because it's really cool and real creepy. But he's also real hot. Listen, this Carrie Lake gives all of the gothic vibes. If you want to read something fall, something spooky, something creepy, something gothic, always choose a Carrie Lake book, specifically Anathema. If you haven't read it yet, this one definitely will give you epic fall fantasy vibes. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into Eldritch. I definitely want to do that very soon, probably in October for me, but I am obsessed with this series. I gave it 5 stars last year I think it was, either that or no, it was definitely last year. It was so good and made me just an absolute fan of Carrie Lake's writing. You definitely need to try one of these. You're gonna get the dark, creepy, atmospheric, moody vibes, and if nothing else, also a great story. So pick this one up. I absolutely loved it. You will love it too. The next one is another white choose, and that is Castle of Nevers and Nightmares. This is by Alana Paherchik. This is another tournament fantasy type of fantasy romance, but it's white choose. You have a girl where her life is ruined. She kind of has a curse upon her, and winning these tournaments will grant her a wish again. However, the games are rigged because the Fae are cruel, and it really is just to weed out the blight of humans in their society, and they're just using it as entertainment so they can watch the humans destroy each other. Of course, the girl here, her name is Willow. She is backed by a House of Shadows, which has 5 like boogeymen. That's what they call them, boogeyman types. And those are coincidentally the same people that kind of ruined her life. So this was a fun one. I love the art in here. The art is like absolutely gorgeous and fantastic. Definitely think you should give this a try. It is a spicy one and I really enjoyed it. So for once, this isn't fantasy. This is definitely more on the paranormal side, but with mafia, vampires and mafia, and I couldn't not put it on this list, okay? It also has two of my favorite narrators. If you read the audiobook, this is Blood Bride by C.D. Reese, and I just have to show you this gorgeous paperback edition that I got at romantasy. This is the front, this is the back, but the side is her hand, like, and it's just like fantastic. Yeah, I love this book. Anyways, this book is about a very, very old vampire, and the people who could give him life more than humans are actually called Strega. So he's trying to find his Strega, and of course she's it. She gets abducted. He is very dirty. He's very dirty. And there are some questionable lines in here that made me laugh so hard, but I highly loved this story, okay? It is kind of an epic mafia story, and it's in Italy. I think it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Italy or Rome or something like that. And it's dark and kind of grim, and there's just a lot of things going on. I did read the second book as well, and that one is even darker, let me tell you. It was even darker. But this one was really, really good. I love the dynamic between him because she is fighting him the whole time, and there's something about her that he is like, I'm going to take you by force if I have to, but he can't for some reason, and it really kind of ruffles his feathers, and it really gets under his skin that he'll like go to bite her, but there's like literally a force stopping him. And I just freaking loved that about him. Also, Jason Clarke is the mafia vampire here. Perfection. And then also, what's her name? Samantha Brentwood. Samantha Brentwood is also the female narrator in this one. So it's just like a well done book, narrated book, and I really loved it so much. Also, this author is a riot. Like, I freaking love her. So the next book is one that I recently finished, and we're gonna have our discussion on it. It'll be tomorrow. It'll be Sunday when you see this. I'm putting this up on Saturday, but this book is The Wolf King. This is kind of more, I would say, more like a historical paranormal type. You know, there's definitely shifters, but the setting is also fantastical. It's in its own world and everything. So I think it fits on the list. It also definitely has those atmospheric fall vibes to it. Like, it definitely does. The wolves in here are very, they're Scottish. Okay, they're Scottish. I didn't know that for some reason about this book, but they're Scottish. And the heroine here stops a dogfight with a young wolf pup and a large alpha wolf. She thinks the whole dogfighting thing is atrocious, but her betrothed loves it. He's kind of a Joffrey-esque type of character. And so she stops this wolf fight from happening and says imprison him instead. And later on, when she goes to the prisons, she sees the alpha wolf. She gives him hell for trying to kill this little boy. And he says, well, guess what? I'm going to take you back to my kingdom and I'm going to kidnap you. So they go on a journey to go back to his kingdom, and then once they get in there, it's all about her trying to understand what's going on in this kingdom, fit in. He's also trying to protect her from the other wolves because the wolves really hate the humans, obviously, because the humans keep trying to kill them. So this is just kind of more of an epic adventure. It also feels very historical. She's also a bit of a healer. And then there's a very, very handsome Scottish hero in this. And yes, he's nice. He's nice. This is an interesting one I had on my shelves for way too long. I'm really glad I recently read it, but I think you should read it too. I think you would really like it. It gives Outlander vibes for sure. There's another book that I think it gives vibes of, but I don't want to say that because honestly it was a spoiler for me, and so I'm not going to spoil it for you. So that's this book. I think you should read it. It has a lot of buzz right now. A lot of people are reading it, and I think you should too. This one isn't as epic as the others, but I still think it is a really great fantasy, but that also has the fall vibes and a bit paranormal. bit paranormal as well, but I do think it's leans fantasy. So that's just my personal opinion. Anyways, The Coven by Harper L. Woods follows a young witch, and she has to go to a magical school where everyone hates her, and she has to uncover some mysteries about it. Her father kind of hid her away when she was young and tried to keep her away from all these people in the school, but she has to actually end up going there. This gives vibes of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina to me, like the show on Netflix that was a few years ago. I don't know why I just pointed, but that show on Netflix that was a few years ago. It gives the Not Today Satan vibes, okay? I highly loved it. I also think it was a little bit spicy but a lot of fun. Love these gorgeous sprayed edges. Unfortunately, I didn't like the second one, but I did like this first one a ton. And I think you should read it because it definitely gives those fall, atmospheric, witchy vibes. Maybe some demons, maybe some other creatures. We need the creatures around here, right? My last books are all Karina Halle books because there is just something about a Karina Halle fantasy romance that absolutely puts me in the mood for fall. All of her fantasy romance books have a bit of horror into them. They all have a bit of vampire. They all have a bit of dark, twisty tension. So I'm gonna put them in here. First off, we have Grave Matter. This is more contemporary, but where they go is very fantastical. So listen, I know this one's more contemporary, okay? And I know this thing is fall fantasy. But when I tell you the school that they go to gives the fantasy vibes, I really mean it. This girl has a research opportunity that she's been given to go study some fungus in the Pacific Northwest. They go to a mysterious island in a mysterious school where mysterious things start happening. It's creepy, it's crawly. Sometimes they go to these remote islands where things just start being weird, and there is a mystery revolving around her and one of her professors, and it is amazing. Lots of ADHD rep in here. I highly recommend it for any type of fall TBRs. I think it's a fantastic one. It's creepy, it's spooky, and I loved it. And yes, I know it's not quite a fantasy romance, but I'm putting it on the list, okay? I'm gonna do it because it's my video and I want to. And then we have a Blood Orange. Definitely you have to pick this up. Again, I know it's more paranormal, but this book is about a girl who is a witch hunter. She has to glamour herself because she is after someone who inspired Dracula. So he is not Dracula, but he inspired Dracula. And he happens to be a music teacher in, oh my God, Venice. So she plays the organ, and somehow Karina Halle makes the organ very sexy. Okay, very sexy. There are highly spicy here. Super spicy. I absolutely am obsessed with this duology. It is a duology. It has another interconnected series that I haven't read yet, but you don't need to read that series to read this. Like, I think this stands on its own quite well. Again, I think this is the Arcane edition, but I think it so sets the mood for a spooky time. And then I'm ending on a fantastic retelling, reimagining, I'll say, of the Sleepy Hollow legend from Karina Halle. She is coming out with new books, or she just came out with trad releases of these books, and I think you should definitely try them out. It is a menage book. Hollow is the first one. Legend is the second one. These are absolutely must-haves on your fall fantasy TBRs. Like, this follows the legend of Sleepy Hollow. You're gonna follow Katrina. You're gonna follow Ichabod. You're gonna follow the Headless Horseman, and they're all gonna have some real fun times together in a very creepy academy where you go through the gates and you just forget everything outside of it. You can't remember anything. You have to be in the academy to remember things. And it is amazing. Again, a reimagining of the Sleepy Hollow tale. Vastly different than that tale, but you'll follow the same characters. You'll kind of follow a little bit of the legend and that kind of thing. I absolutely loved. I'm just trying, like, it's been a long time since I read this and it still sticks with me, especially a scene in this book. But this book, so atmospheric, perfect for the fall vibes. October reading for sure. Definitely pick these up. So those are all of my fall recommendations. I know I kind of go outside of fantasy romance on a few of these, but you know what, just trust me, they're really good, and you'll understand why I put them on the list. They're just slightly adjacent, and that's okay. That's okay. I believe in the spectrum of things. Let me know if any of these interest you and if you'll be picking them up this fall. As always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.